Hey everybody, what's up? Okay. For everybody that hate when I pop my tongue, look, let you know right now what this video about to be on. So, if you don't want to be here, thank you for clicking on for the view. But you can go. It's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know people that really love me gonna stay for the comments, sir, because I'm tired of y'all coming on my videos being mad about me popping my tongue. Like, sometimes I gotta swallow my spit. What you want? Like, Lord, you know what I'm saying? But whatever, we're here. And I'm about to annoy some of y'all. So let's go ahead and start off with this whole Gayle King, Lisa Leslie, Kobe Bryant situation. All right. Gayle King did an interview with Lisa Leslie. It was a long form interview. And CBS decided to release this very tumultuous clip of Gayle and Lisa Leslie going back and forth about Kobe's 2003-2004 rape case. Okay, now let's go through some things about this rape case. Okay, just so we can be clear on a few things. The young woman who accused Kobe was a 19-year-old maid at the hotel that he was staying at. Okay, there was bruising on her body, vaginally, on her neck. There was blood present on the t-shirt that he wore that night. Okay, and then there was the infamous Kobe where you throw the condom in the garbage can. Okay, y'all remember that? Okay, so from my memory, when this initially happened, everybody kind of thought that Kobe did it and just kind of got off because he was Kobe. Like, you have all of NBA behind you. You're making the Lakers so much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, people were going to try to get him out of this situation. It's a 19-year-old maid. Like, she don't have no money for no lawyers like that. Okay? So what ended up happening is she refused to testify at the trial, during the trial. So Kobe was acquitted. But there was then a civil suit in which they settled out of court, and Kobe had to come out and give a public apology, which he did. And I'm going to read said apology because I'm going to take this to another viewpoint in a minute. And I just want to be clear about this before we get there. Because I mentioned on Instagram and on Twitter that my problem is I feel like there's an overall energy of protect black men at all costs, no matter who they are or what they have done. If they are a celebrity and you love them, you protect them at all costs, even at the expense of black women who are just asking questions. Whether you like those questions or not, I felt like this conversation is, to me, more so about the handling of Gayle King and bringing in Oprah like she had anything to do with this conversation, because she did not. But y'all brought her in anyway because y'all already mad at her for doing documentaries about Michael Jackson and pulling out of the one about Russell Simmons. We've already talked about that. So I already let y'all know how I feel about that. And I'll, delve into that. But the Kobe case, he was acquitted. There was a civil suit. There was an NDA, and there was a public apology. And I'm going to read you his apology because I just want everybody to be clear about where we are with this. And I quote, "First, I want to apologize directly to the young woman involved in this incident. I want to apologize to her for my behavior that night and for the consequences she has suffered in the past year. Although this year has been incredibly difficult for me personally, I can only imagine the pain she has had to endure. I also want to apologize to her parents and family members, and to my family and friends and supporters, and to the citizens of Eagle, Colorado. I also want to make it clear that I do not question the motives of this young woman. No money has been paid to this woman. She has agreed that this statement will not be used against me in the civil case. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view this incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter. I issued this statement today fully aware that while one part of this case ends today, another remains. I understand that the civil case against me will go forward. That part of this case will be decided by and between parties directly involved in the incident and will no longer be a financial or emotional drain on the citizens of the state of Colorado." So, Kobe himself apologized and had some form of understanding that whatever happened in that room, there was a miscommunication and a misunderstanding. And so, moving from that point, for y'all to act as if it is so disrespectful for somebody to ask about this now that he's passed away, and then try to use the woman and whoever she is and her victimhood as a way to back your statement that nobody should be asking that question. I just wanted to point out that he himself admitted to whatever happened and how it was not right. Okay, he apologized. I do feel like Kobe Bryant grew from that situation, which is why there was never another situation like that. But I do think that in 2003, 2004, the energy and climate of the Me Too movement obviously was not the same. Women did not have the same space to say, this happened to me. I was not okay with it. Now, I read some of the things that happened, okay? And I don't even really want to go all into the detail of what I read. But from what I understand, to me, it sounds like a girl who probably didn't know how to communicate and a dude who didn't read his room. Like, that's a little bit what it sounds like to me. Either way, sound like something happened. So I just want to put that out there for everybody that wanted to talk about how, oh, we don't even know if this happened and it's alleged and all of this and this and that. Now that we've established that something happened and that Kobe felt the need to apologize, that's that, okay? Let's move on to this Gayle King interview. Gayle asked Lisa Leslie, do you think the 2003 rape case tarnished his legacy in any way? Lisa Leslie then goes on to discuss how Kobe Bryant wasn't even that type of person, and you would see him out in a club and he isn't even the type to be hollering at the girls and all of that. Lisa Leslie should have thought about that question before she answered it. I'm sorry. I know y'all feel like Gayle was going after Lisa, but what you don't do, and I don't know how many episodes of SVU you've seen, but I've seen enough to know that whenever someone has been accused of something, they have friends, they have family, all of who are shocked, and a lot of the times feel like the person that they know could never have done something like that. And a lot of the times, the person absolutely did it, okay? Absolutely did it, but it's not what you know of them. What does that matter? Lisa Leslie was not in the room, just like everybody else wasn't in the room. So Lisa Leslie should have answered the question she was asked and not decided to give her opinion on who she saw Kobe as. The question was, did it tarnish his legacy? The adequate way to respond to this question in order to shut it down would have been, I think that it may have tarnished his legacy at the time. But now, looking back on everything, I would like for us to focus on all of the incredible things that Kobe has been able to accomplish. And I also feel like he learned from that situation. From then on, changing his life in the better, okay, and becoming a philanthropist or whatever you want to say. But she should have turned that question around. And she didn't. She got defensive because she was flustered. Okay, she was flustered because maybe she didn't expect Gayle to ask that question that quickly. A lot of y'all felt like Gayle's demeanor wasn't as sensitive to the situation as y'all would have liked. I'm a former journalist. And when I saw Gayle asking those questions, I was like, oh, Gayle, they're going to be so mad, girl. Oh, why you doing this, Gayle? No, Gayle. But then after, I was like, if I was in her situation, I probably would have asked the question the same way. I probably would have responded to Lisa Leslie the same way. Oh, you didn't see this. Well, you know that a lot of the times friends don't really see their friends for who they are. Hell, people be married for years and don't know that they married to somebody that's got a child in the basement. So I just kind of feel like her answer wasn't adequate. Her answer wasn't the right way to answer the question. So, of course, Gayle has to come back and comment on that in the way that people would comment back. Anybody that has possibly been in that situation has been assaulted or feels some type of way about Kobe's assault case and how everybody kind of put him on this pedestal because of the way he passed away, the circumstances. Of course, it's all a tragedy. He's still a legend. What happened doesn't change that, but it definitely tarnishes the shininess a little bit. Definitely. But all in all, most people will remember him for being an amazing athlete, and that's fine. But my issue comes in when now we want to attack, threaten, and call Gayle and Oprah everything but a child of God because they're black women trying to take down the legacies of black men. And that's when I get pissed off, okay? If y'all wanted to be mad about the Kobe situation, I understand how y'all feel, because when I was watching it, I felt the same way. It was uncomfortable. It was cringeworthy. It was like, oh, but at the same time, it happened. It happened. It is a fact that it happened. So if people are already asking about it on other news platforms, Lisa Leslie had to know she was going to be asked that question. She just should have thought about her answer a little longer before she answered in a flustered way, which is what she did, okay? So at the end of the day, y'all may not like that Gayle asked that question, but it was a valid question. And normally when people pass away, it is not just the good things that we have to bring up and talk about in media. It is also the negative things that we talk about and bring up in media. And then there's always people on social media that feel like because somebody has passed away, we should respect their legacy. I don't feel like that. If you did some shit in life, it will carry through in your death. Point blank, period. Whether it is on a large scale or in the minds of the person that it was personally done to. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's going to be mentioned. Just like when Michael died, the cases that he had were mentioned. Okay? It's just the way it goes. It may not be fair, but life is not fair. Okay? Because to me, I don't find it fair that y'all want to drag Gayle and threaten to kill her. Snoop Dogg is on his Instagram talking about how much of a dog-ass bitch she is, talking about free Bill Cosby. Y'all, hello? Bill Cosby did that shit. He did that shit. Okay? I'm not alone with this sentiment. And then Bill Cosby responded to Snoop Dogg and thanked him for the way he came out and talked about how they're using black women to tear down the legacy of black men. Let me tell you something. Black men tear down their own legacies all on their own. Oprah and Gayle didn't have to say anything. Them people over there was already talking about that rape case. They was already talking about it. But because the Shade Room and Media Takeout and anybody else black whose blog you look at every day didn't mention it, you didn't see it. Okay? So I personally just feel like it's one thing to disagree with her questions. It's a whole nother thing to be more upset at Gayle and Oprah than you are at Bill Cosby, Russell Simmons, or Michael Jackson, or Robert Kelly, or anybody else that has been alleged, accused, or convicted of doing something along those lines. I have a problem with feeling like it's a whole bunch of toxic masculinity taking place online where y'all want to all take part in bashing and verbally abusing a woman for asking a question that a whole bunch of other people have already asked. Okay? Lisa Leslie gonna be all right. Okay? Lisa Leslie is not about to crumble because somebody asked her that question. So everybody talking about, oh, what about how Lisa felt? Lisa knew that when they interviewed her, that question was probably gonna come up. Come on now. Stop this shit. Okay? And I also saw Gayle King's response. And she said she was upset because they kept playing that clip. Gayle, don't backpedal and pussy pop, sis. Stand in it. I asked the question because it was a valid question, and CBS used that clip as clickbait to make sure that y'all will come in to watch so that we can get paid by these advertisers. That's the realness of the situation. It does not change that Kobe is a legend. It does not change that his death was a tragedy. It does not change his impact on the game. It does not change any of that. But it is a fact, and it is a fact that will be discussed in the media because he passed away. All of y'all talking about what was the point of the question? Stop with the bullshit. Whenever somebody dies, we talk about what happened in their lives. That's just what it is. Stop. And Oprah didn't have anything to do with this interview, but y'all lumped Oprah in because Oprah has done her interviews about Russell. And y'all were just saying, some of y'all were just saying, oh, she's tearing down black men because she's talking about them, but she's not talking about Harvey Weinstein. And I'm like, I've said this over and over again, that when we're talking about current events, we're talking about what's happening at the moment, okay? So obviously we're going to be talking about Kobe. It just happened, okay? But also, Harvey Weinstein has to want to be interviewed in order to be asked these questions, okay? Harvey Weinstein is not being interviewed because he is currently in trial. So something is being done about what he's done. Y'all just mad because Oprah and Gayle haven't questioned every white rapist ever in life, but they have interviews with the black folks because this is the audience that they're catering to. At the end of the day. Now, if you want to view that as male bashing, black male bashing, that's absolutely fine, but we'll agree to disagree, because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about somebody bashing Russell Simmons. I don't give a shit about somebody bashing Bill Cosby. I don't give a shit about somebody bashing Michael Jackson. I can separate the art from the artist. I am very good at that, and I do that. And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time doing that. But at the end of the day, as a journalist, I have watched people not ask questions, not do stories, and not talk about things that are relevant because they're trying to be protective of a friend or trying to be protective of somebody that they like. I've seen that in this business myself personally, and I don't like that shit. I don't feel like you get to decide what questions are asked and what stories are told based off of how you feel about a person. I don't think that's fair. That's not real journalism. Real journalism is asking the hard question regardless of how y'all gonna feel about it. Because at the end of the day, they might be hanging Gayle King out to dry, but CBS is getting this because y'all are mad at Gayle King. Please believe that if she asked that question, it is because she had an executive producer that definitely needed that question asked. I even felt like she was speeding through the questions because she wanted to hurry up and get them over with. She also said in her rebuttal on Instagram that she wanted to interview Lisa Leslie because she was a friend and because she knew that Lisa Leslie would be able to kind of put a button on the issue, which people had been talking about since the day he died. So I think that Gayle, in a non-biased way, was asking questions in order to get the response out of Lisa Leslie that would placate everybody that was bothered by it. Because I felt like Lisa Leslie did a good job overall. But when Lisa Leslie was asked that question and she started to talk about how she knows Kobe as a friend, that was her mistake. That was her mistake, okay? Because there are a whole bunch of people who have said that about R. Kelly, who have said that. I mean, Felicia Rashad said the same thing about Bill Cosby. That's not the man she knows. And some of y'all drug her for that, okay? So I just kind of feel like at the end of the day, Gayle had to ask the question. You may not like how it was asked, but it was asked, okay? And it was a valid question. And I don't feel like anybody should be out here canceling, which you can't cancel her because you can't fire her. So it don't even really matter how you feel. Like, she's still going to be working at CBS because CBS approved those questions, okay? But I don't like that. I feel like no matter what, y'all protect black men and y'all disregard, step on, abuse black women, no matter what. At the end of the day, neither Oprah or Gayle have assaulted, alleged, raped, or done anything to anybody to that standard. But y'all will drag them and talk bad about them and curse them out and threaten to kill them and everything else online. You'll do that to them, but you won't give that same energy to the men who have done terrible things to women. And I see a lot of black women doing that too. I swear the patriarchy and racism have really clouded everybody's minds. And what I'm never going to do is be a bandwagon type bitch. And when I said that on Instagram, what I mean is it would have been so easy for me to jump up and agree with what everybody was saying and get up here and reiterate that and everybody's happy with Bondi because Bondi said what everybody wanted to hear. I'm not doing that. I can't do that. Okay, it is the journalist in me that refuses to falter or to get online and perpetrate a viewpoint that I don't agree with. At the end of the day, Gayle King did her damn job, whether you liked it or not. It was cringeworthy, it was hard, but such is life. Snoop, you know, I'm starting not to like you. I really am starting not to like you. You ain't nothing but another example of toxic masculinity that's been able to get away with the things you've been able to get away with because you're famous. Let's not forget who also was able to get away with something because they made somebody a lot of money. So yeah, this will be a separate video because I went on and I don't have time for videos not to get monetized, but I'm going to talk about this shit. So yeah, whether you enjoyed it or not, that's my opinion. And yeah, hopefully you'll come back for the rest of the commentary, which won't be so tumultuous.